The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, "A rich man had a steward who was reported to him for squandering his property. He summoned him and said, 'What is this I hear about you? Prepare a full account of your stewardship, because you can no longer be my steward.' The steward said to himself, 'What shall I do, now that my master is taking the position of steward away from me? For I am not strong enough to dig, and I am ashamed to beg. I know what I shall do, so that when I am removed from the stewardship, they may welcome me into their homes.' He called in his master's debtors one by one. To the first he said, 'How much do you owe my master?' He replied, 100 measures of olive oil. He said to him, 'Here is your promissory note. Sit down and quickly write one for 50. Then to another the steward said, 'And you, how much do you owe?' He replied, 100 cores of wheat. The steward said to him, 'Here is your promissory note. Write one for 80. And the master commended that dishonest steward for acting prudently. For the children of this world are more prudent in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. The person who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones. And the person who is dishonest in very small matters is also dishonest in great ones. If therefore you are not trustworthy with dishonest wealth, who will trust you with true wealth? If you are not trustworthy with what belongs to another, who will give you what is yours? No servant can serve two masters. He will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
This gospel passage has enough in it that I could go several different directions. You've got the man rebargaining with the people, not even rebargaining with his own stuff, but rebargaining with his master's stuff, so that when he gets kicked out of the house, these guys are going to be his friends. You've got it continuing on and talking about dishonest wealth, and what in the world does it mean, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth? And near the end, or at the end, you've got this one line that you could talk about just by itself for quite a while. You cannot serve both God and mammon. I think the part that I really want to focus on, though, is that first one. That first section about the man who's rebargaining with somebody else's possessions. Why is this being held up as something we should look to? It seems a little backwards for Jesus to be saying, you should model yourself after this guy. Doesn't exactly seem like the person that Jesus would normally hold up as, this is an example of what you should do. I think a key part of it is hearing the question the man asked. What shall I do? What shall I do? That's the question he's asking. He acknowledges, I can't dig, and I'm ashamed to beg. A lot of times, this is what happens with people in the faith life, is they ask the question, what should I do? And immediately what pops to mind is the things they can't do anything about. The things that they can't do. I can't do this. I can't do that. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. It's very easy to get caught up in all that you can't do anything about. This man has acknowledged, this position's being taken away from me. I can't stop that now. I'm not strong enough to dig. There's no way I'm going to get strong enough at this point. I'm ashamed to beg. He's acknowledging he's not going to change on that regard. I can't. But then he goes and says, I know what I can do. I know what I can do. And he starts renegotiating with these people to be in better straits, to have some ill-won friends. What is it that is really being held up for? Is the fact that he asked the question, what can I do? What can I do? You know what? We look out on this world right now, and if you're watching the news, you can get fairly depressed about everything going on. I can't do anything about the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Iran. I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about the fact that the president, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, we can all agree, says things in a way that you wish he wouldn't. I can't do anything about that. I can do something at the next election, but then I also have to ask, between those options, do I have a better option? But I can't even do anything about that right now. That's a year and a quarter away, year and 2 months. I can't do anything about that. But you know what I can do? I can go outside and talk to my neighbor. I can walk up to somebody in the grocery store and ask them how they're doing. I can smile at somebody who's of a different race. Personally, I don't even like the term because, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, there is only a human race. So maybe a better thing is to say, I can smile at somebody who's of a different ethnic background. Make them feel welcome as I'm able. You know what makes somebody feel welcome or not? It has very little to do with the national government. What makes somebody feel welcome in their neighborhood is when their neighbors invite them over for dinner. When their neighbors say, hey, why don't you come to our house? I don't know you that well. Come over, let's have a meal. Let's get to know each other. Let's pray together. Let's pray before meals. You guys pray before meals? You're weird. But that's a great opportunity to witness to your faith. It's not aggressive. Some people say, I could never bring anybody to the church because I don't know enough theology. Do you know how to love someone? Do you know how to show kindness to them? More people have been brought to the church by love and kindness than theological arguments. And probably far more have been brought to the church by love and kindness than anybody trying to win an argument in the comments section on any form of social media. What can I do? What can I do? This is the question Jesus wants us asking all the time. What can I do to improve the world? I can't change the world as a whole. Mother Teresa was asked once, why do you bother? You'll never get rid of all of the poor. You can't stop poverty. And she responded with, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to help this person. And then I'm going to help that person. And then I'm going to help the next person. And truth be told, many of us would say that Mother Teresa did change the world. She made it a little bit brighter, a little happier, a little kinder, a little more Christian. We can make a difference if we stop asking, what can't I do? And simply ask, what can I do? Or even better, what can I do with God's grace?